Yeah, this is tough. Okay.
Let me think, so I know we want to get started, but maybe
Yeah.
I can help with something. What would be a typical good person and how much does it cost him?
Um,
I can see what there is a lot of travel stuff and
yeah, I'm pretty open on the price part because all they're getting is just a commercial.
yeah.
If they come on the show, it's a little different. But if it's typical, like travel type thing,
Yep.
we'll talk about it and figure out what works.
Want to figure it out? Yeah.
So travel, shows, like you had, what else?
I mean, sometimes what I could do is
Tanning bed.
certain things in trade, with like hotels and stuff.
Yeah, golf.
right.
So that's very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that works out pretty well for them because a lot of times if they do like a 2-night certificate, but they're all the way in like San Luis Obispo, if somebody from here uses it, they might say, oh, well, I'll pay for another day or two. So that
Okay.
the hotel actually makes some money on
Some
it.
extra.
It's just kind of basically it's discounted rather than just giving away. Also, if people lose their certificate, it's called breakage. And so they ended up getting free
Oh, I love that.
advertising and they didn't,
Cost you
Oh.
the
nothing.
customer didn't cost them anything.
Oh, I know. I give out certificates and sometimes they're not used.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Same sort of thing. Yeah. I mean, restaurants would be great.
I'm just writing
Yeah.
down restaurants right
Yeah,
this second.
that'd be great because like if $50 restaurant certificate, not too many people are going to buy $50.06 worth,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
They're gonna spend here 50. Okay, I'll spend $120.
Yep.
And so it's rather than not being a 2-for-1 type of thing, but it ends up kind of acting like that. So that would actually be really good.
Okay. I got a few in mind. That's what I
Okay,
wrote down. Okay, cool.
good.
Never thought of it.
All right, and the email questions we have, Nam, how can I verify what assets you hold in fund?
Okay.
And Patty, does it matter which company an agent works for, or is it really the agent?
Yeah. Okay, good.
Okay. Now, I was going to introduce you as Pacific Union Realty, but should I change that?
Still is. Still
Oh,
is.
okay.
Yeah.
It's not going to change though, because doesn't Compass allow companies to stay branded as those companies?
We
or are
will
they-
become Compass. We
Okay.
will.
Oh, okay, that's the point.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. But for now, we'll
Yeah.
go that way. Okay. So we'll get right into what you have. I'll just turn it over to you. Ready? And away we go. Well, welcome. You're listening to The Best of Investing. I'm your host, Edward Brown, along with my co-host, Nam Phan of Pacific Private Money and Patty Cohen of Pacific Union Realty. Our phone number is 888-912-1190. Use that number to answer the trivia questions for a 5-pack tanning certificate given away during this show. And that certificate's not sponsored by the radio station, but by Tan Bella Tanning Salon, with 2 locations in San Francisco and 1 in Marin. Check them out. Today's trivia theme is entertainment. We like that. It's entertainment. Let's see, Patty, you've got a very interesting point you wanted to start off with.
Well, yeah, it's a subject that keeps coming up a lot, and especially in the last 3 or 4 years, but now so more than ever. And consumers are confused, some real estate are confused, sellers are confused. But the question is it okay to make an offer on a property and have 0 contingencies? And
Ooh,
Now,
that's
one would think,
interesting.
one would think, well, why not?
Well, what are the typical contingencies people have when they're making an
the
offer?
2 main ones are loan and inspections of the property.
Financing contingency.
So, of
Okay.
course, generally people only do that, buyers only do that when there's competition.
Mhm.
And when there's competition, what's common now from when I got in the business 30 years ago and even 10 years ago, we weren't really doing it, but we come as listing agents with a full disclosure packet
Right.
Oh, yeah.
before buyers make the offer. And the California real estate forms that everyone uses are as is based on what's known at the time of the offer.
Okay.
Right.
So buyers see everything, the licensed inspector inspected it, and even still buyers often get their own inspections unless there's multiple offers. So so it's as is,
Okay.
but based on what you know at the time. So
Right.
I think personally, I think that's pretty good. I mean, I like that way of doing business because, it's based on what you know at the time,
Mhm.
and it's not like you're not disclosing stuff.
yeah.
So it's like, well, I know we had, termite damage X
Right.
or something. Go ahead.
And then people say, okay, so based on what I know at the time, but I've also removed all contingencies. I can't find anything else out.
Okay.
What happens if I find out that there's been a big lot line dispute? Or what
Yeah.
happens if the foundation is cracked and I didn't know it, or the place burns down?
Well, again,
If there-
okay, so let's go back. Okay, so if I'm the seller and I didn't know it was cracked,
Yeah.
And
Right.
the thing is, I'm accepting your offer as is because I could have accepted someone else's offer.
Yeah.
And then that's the competitive advantage theoretically that you're gaining on everyone else is saying, I'm removing all those contingencies.
Yeah. Well, you have to assume there's no failure to disclose on the seller's part.
Sure.
But
Yeah.
even still, if everything's been disclosed, all contingencies are removed, if something is discovered during the period of escrow that wasn't previously disclosed, and it's a material fact, meaning it could affect the value of the property, then a buyer has 3 days to digest that and move out, even, move on and
Move on.
Yeah.
Move on.
Okay, so and we're still assuming the seller didn't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
The seller didn't
You
know.
know what? That's
Or
That's
I
actually not
suppose
such
it
a-
doesn't matter. I mean, if the seller knew and the borrower discovered it anyway, they still have that right to 3-day right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but I'm just thinking like from the standpoint of the seller. I mean, if they didn't have that, then I'd kind of look and go, well, wait a minute, seller, are you trying to pull a fast one, or
Right.
gee, I didn't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I'm just thinking as a consumer and kind of looking at both sides of the fence. I mean, as long as you give them just a few days to decide, then at that point they'll probably come back and offer a lower price or get out completely or lower the price. But at that point, once you move on to the next person, you have to disclose the fact that, this last person
Right.
discovered the foundation's cracked. Right?
Exactly. And then, and so the other side of it, and what was happening for a while there is attorneys would counsel us and say, even if somebody wants to make an offer with no contingencies, don't do it. At least put in a few days, because attorneys are very aware of what
Yeah.
causes lawsuits.
Right.
And they say right afterwards, in rising market, we have no problem. But when it's flat or going down, buyers, whine in court about
Yeah.
the agent wouldn't
Sure.
let me, the seller wouldn't let me.
Wouldn't let
Like,
me. Yeah.
come
Wouldn't
on.
let me. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? Then you can also disclose. Okay, it's got dry rot. It's got termite damage. The foundation's got. It's got everything
Right.
possible.
Yeah.
But then, I mean, even though we all kind of look and go, well, that's not really true. You go, yeah, but I disclosed. And,
Yeah, disclosed.
Right.
But it's
Yeah.
not fair because there were other people bidding. Well, that's just how it is.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, that should definitely not be an excuse.
Yeah.
So as a realtor, to cover yourself though, if somebody says, I want to not have any contingencies, would you have them sign something saying?
Yeah, we've got a
I'm
really good
recommending that you-
we got a really good form for that.
Yeah. Yeah, it says,
It's
I'm recommending that you have
Yeah.
contingencies, and you're signing here. By signing here, you're saying that you go ahead and waive.
Yeah.
Of course, they still, they'll
Sure.
still
Of course.
It's sort of like, there were banks that were getting in the business of selling mutual funds and that sort of thing. And they had form after form after form that would tell the prospective buyer of a mutual fund or annuity, this is not FDIC insured. It's not a deposit. You can lose all your money. Now, let's repeat after me. You can lose all your money.
Mhm.
I'm just sitting here in a bank. I just happen to be in a bank, but I don't represent the bank. I mean, all of these things. And still,
Yeah.
the market goes down, the mutual fund drops.
Mhm.
They go to their attorney and they go, but they were in the bank.
Sure.
You
Yeah.
know?
There's a cost
Exactly.
of settling.
Right?
and
Crazy.
Americans, we all know Americans don't read and all that stuff. But yeah.
And it is kind of unfair like some of these disclaimers are so small print, like even on TV, and they just quickly go. I mean, hey, the guy talking really fast, like, it's like, really? I'm not supposed
It's like
to
those
understand that?
medical commercials.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Yeah, you will die if you take this, but it'll clear your acne.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Hey, real quick for the next segment, can
Yeah.
we continue on that
Sure.
conversation?
Absolutely.
I got some other
Okay.
stuff. Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to cut to our first commercial break. We're talking entertainment here. All right. First trivia question. What 1950s rock pioneer was portrayed by Lou Diamond Phillips in a 1987 film? That's funny. I had 9187. I think I'm dyslexic here. Okay, that's our trivia question. Call 888-912-1190. To answer that question, be the first caller with the correct answer. You're going to win that certificate that's worth about $100 from Tandela. What 1950s rock pioneer was portrayed by Lou Diamond Phillips in a 1987 film? Don't touch that dial. The best of investing. We'll be right back. All
All
right.
right.
One segment down, 25
That's
down.
great. I love how fast it goes and nice and light and easy.
Yeah, totally fast.
Okay,
I always still love asking you realistic questions.
Yeah, I mean, if it's going fast for us, that means, somebody might be enjoying it out there.
Yeah. It's surprising
What's easy,
because we
what's
did the money show, and we
Oh,
should
yeah.
maybe we can talk about the money show.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And
There's about
Ross
50
event.
leads.
we got a lot of leads, but a lot of people want to. We listened to your show.
Yeah.
And that's how they got there?
See, a lot of people just don't call. They're not
Right.
going to call to
They
win a
just
10 ballot
yeah.
penny.
Yeah, right.
Don't call.
KDOW always sponsor, which is the station.
Yeah.
They always are a sponsor at the show, so they have their booth. And so I think people learn about the Money Show through KDOW because they promote it.
Oh, maybe.
But
Yeah.
the people who are there, and surprisingly a number of them go, yeah, I listen to your guys' show. So,
Now, how about people who show up at an event like the San Mateo one? Do they say, I got here because of the show?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every once in a while.
yeah, we get people registering from who are calling in. So
That's great. Good.
And then it helps that we're rebroadcast at 7 a.m. on Sunday for people who listen on Saturday,
right.
as well as their sister station, KTRB, the 860 The Answer. There are a lot of people who apparently listen to that because it's a 50,000 watt station.
Wow.
Right.
It goes. It has a
Wow.
very, very big
Broad
Audience or whatever.
radius.
radius.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
You know, another thing to talk about is around that subject is that if you go up to Napa or Sonoma, there's none of that. Agents will tell you, no, you can't do that. It's not. Some people think it's
You mean
illegal.
contingency?
Yeah.
Oh,
So that's something to talk about.
Yeah, it is market specific. That's
Yeah.
one
very,
of
very interesting. So no. Well, okay. Here it is. Welcome back to the Best of Investing. Edward Brown here, along with Nam Phan and Patty Cohen. First commercial break. What 1950s rock pioneer was portrayed by Lou Diamond Phillips in a 1987 film? Anybody remember that?
something Valens. What's it?
Richie Valens. That's right.
Valens,
that's
La Bamba.
La Bamba.
That's actually a very good movie. I enjoyed that. So, Patty, you were talking about contingency sales, and it's not like the old days where you say, "Yeah, I've got to sell 3 properties in order to, sell to buy this one."
Oh,
Will you
yeah.
accept that offer?
Oh, yeah. I mean, and that's a whole nother topic, like contingent upon the sale of a property. Usually it's just contingent upon inspecting the property and the buyer getting a loan.
Yes.
Yep.
But, contingency sales, we don't see them anymore, but we're going to start seeing them in the next 3, 4, 5 years.
You think
Okay.
so?
Go ahead. As the market slows down?
As it slows down.
Yeah.
Because it's a situation, it's not like the situation has gone away. It's
Right.
just that sellers won't have it because they don't have to. Because at one point, there were 40% of our sales in the Bay Area were cash.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and a lot of people have the ability to do a bridge loan for specific private money
Yeah,
or
right.
whatever,
That's true.
So with the market slowing down, then sellers will see fewer offers because it's less competitive, right? And so that the offers that do come through, the buyers won't feel like they have to have a no sale contingency.
Or maybe what they'll do is I'm just conjecture here, but they may say, listen, I'll add an extra 100,000 to that offer if you let me make it contingent upon my sale. And then you got to look at how much you're selling your property for.
Yeah.
Is it ridiculous, or no, you priced it well. You'll probably sell that in 3 months.
Yeah.
Mm.
And then a lot of times there's a chain, like that buyer sale is contingent upon the other buyer sale
Yeah.
that's just moving up.
Right.
And hopefully they're a first time buyer and where is that property? If it's all local stuff, we can determine as an agent that's priced correctly or not,
Right.
Yeah.
because it's all about price.
That's right. You're running
Yeah.
comps on further upstream on all these properties that are linked
Exactly.
to Domino. What's the most contingents or
Oh, yeah.
number of deals that had to close in order for
Mhm.
your listing?
I've seen the chain be 4 separate parties.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
That's a
actually.
nightmare.
I mean, how long would
Yeah.
that take? A year?
Oh, no. I mean, everybody's, but then there's then you have either you have a 72-hour release clause in there or you don't. So it's contingent upon your house selling.
Okay.
But I say, the seller says, you know what? If we get a better offer, you're bumped unless you can remove your contingency
Oh,
in
yeah.
72 hours.
Right.
Yeah, puts a little pressure on them.
Hedges your bets, but a lot of buyers aren't having that. Like, I'm not going to go through all that work and then just get bumped.
And along that line, how many backup offers are you seeing?
Oh,
'Cause
backup
some
offers.
people basically say, no, I'm not going to give a backup offer.
Right.
If I lose it, I lose it. But if I don't, then I'm going to come in with my offer.
Yeah.
Does that happen?
Well, we do see backup offers, but they really mostly keep the first person in place. I mean, they're good for the seller.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Is that you're really kind of being the white horse or dark horse, whatever they call it,
Yeah.
dark horse.
Dark
In order to by putting in a backup offer, you're almost solidifying the first offer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And if
That's
they
why
want-
some people don't want to do it.
Yeah. And if they want to get some money back, it's like, sorry, we got somebody better. And
Yeah.
and they might not even be better, but it's a game like who's going to flinch first. I just
Right.
intimate that we've got a better offer. So it's just such a game because we're not allowed to disclose that stuff. It's not to
No.
benefit,
Right.
but yeah.
It's a little unethical.
Yeah.
So, what do you say? So, right now, are there a lot of offers still being made on listings?
It's sort of back to my schizophrenic market. Some of them just sit there
Mhm.
and some of them are flying off the shelf. And I think kind of strangely what happened is that we had a very slow summer, and then somewhere in the last 2 or 3 weeks, everything moved. Like I sold 5 listings in the last 5
Really?
weeks,
Wow.
3 weeks, and several of them were sitting around.
Mhm.
So, and I'm seeing a lot more deals that fall apart for one reason or another. But still, the last 3 weeks, everything exploded, and it wasn't just here. Somebody told me they were in Southern California. The same thing happened. Santa Barbara. Like there was something in the air.
What were the deals falling apart for? In
I
general?
literally had one fall apart today.
Oh.
It was supposed to close tomorrow, and it was a condominium, and it was yesterday discovered that a homeowner is suing. It had nothing to do with this unit.
Okay.
A homeowner, the ice maker from the unit upstairs leaked. The homeowner is suing above the insurance that she could get. She's suing the HOA, which is like suing yourself.
Sort of,
Yeah, and for pain and suffering and additional damages.
Pain and
I
suffering.
know.
Too much ice on my head.
Exactly. So what that effectively does is shuts down the entire complex, and you
Yeah.
can't sell those properties anymore.
I remember
Wow.
Shelter Bay in Mill
Yeah.
Valley had some issues with something to do the foundation or
With
something, and it basically halted everything, and everything dropped 100,000-200,000 overnight.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that was like 35 years
Yeah.
ago, and it still has that stigma.
Does
that
it
complex
really?
more than anything.
Really?
Uh-huh,
Wow.
I remember that as
You remember
answer.
that too? Yeah.
But but lenders have their standards, right? And they're not flexible.
Yeah.
So, it's not even a construction defect in the complex. It's somebody's
No.
ice maker.
Right. Right.
But that shut the whole thing down. It was Union Bank was the lender, and they're pretty easy, but until they're not.
Mm.
Wow.
So I was searching today on other lenders and what we could do and put it back on the market. Might have another offer, might not. It might work, it might not.
Right.
So it's a little tricky.
Wow.
I mean, and maybe they want to do Pacific Private Money, but I mean, this particular buyer didn't because they work for Union Bank and there were some benefits.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay, that makes sense.
Boy, that's-
So it's still, you said it's a little schizophrenic.
Yeah, we got some deals falling through, but
Mhm.
then things were sitting and now everything's flying again.
Wow.
Well, that's
Okay.
good. That's probably got a big smile on your face.
I know, I feel really good, high energy.
You know, how
Yeah.
many people, a few years ago, something like 30% of the purchases in Marin, especially Southern Marin, were from San Francisco residents.
Yeah.
Is that still the
It's
case?
still absolutely the case.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or people either moving out of the city to go to
Congested
suburb. Yeah.
Yeah.
Starting
Is it just
family.
is it the family thing or is it they bring out price?
Oh, I mean, there's just young 30s, 40s couples. They all look like Barbie and Ken. They look perfect. They're coming out of the city. They don't have children, but they're going too soon.
Yeah, because I think about the city and all the cement and everything, and yeah, you got Golden Gate Park and all that and Chrissy Field, but for the most part, where everybody lives, I just can't see living in person. I just can't see living
Yeah.
in the city.
No, I lived in the city for a while, and
Yeah.
I loved it because you could eat out every night at a different place and
Yeah.
just walk to everywhere. But yeah, after getting married, having a family,
Yep.
then it's the last place I would want to live. Although it's a great place to visit.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it's so funny. I remember, and this was back in the 80s, they'd said that if you chose a different restaurant every day to eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner,
Wow.
it would have taken you like 11 years
Wow.
at the time.
And
I
then
mean,
it
it's
would
just
keep going because
ridiculous.
there's new ones.
Yeah,
Wow.
they keep changing all the time. Well, Patty, how do people get a hold of you? You got a wealth of knowledge.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
So it's Patty Cohn, COHN. I'm with Pacific Union Real Estate, and my phone number is 415-722-4842. And you can also find me at bestmarinagent.com.
And there's a reason for that.
why did they call it that?
And when we come back, we're going to ask Nam Phan a couple of interesting questions about your company and how about verifying assets. It'll be very interesting to hear your take on that. Okay, second trivia question. Now, this one I didn't know because I actually didn't see the movie. So, usually I pick questions that I know the answers to just so I can sound smart, but I wasn't very smart on this one. What actress plays Arwen, Arwen, in the movie Lord of the Rings?
God, don't know.
See, if you don't know Lord of the Rings, which I really don't, unfortunately.
I think I know this.
Unfortunately. Yeah, I was gonna say, I got this just for you, Nom, because I knew you'd know the answer to this.
Nice.
We always like to make you look smart. Of course, you're already smart anyway. Call 888-912-1190 to answer this question. What actress plays Arwen, Arwen, in the movie The Lord of the Rings? Patty, you will know, I believe, the name of the actress. You just don't know that she played this part.
Oh.
All right, don't touch that dial. The Best of Investing is going to be right back.
Oh.
So funny. Every time I say that on the sports show, we'll be right back. Bruce says, because my old boss used to say, "Don't say that. We're not going anywhere. We don't want them to go anywhere." I go, "Yeah, but sometimes we have to go to the bathroom." You
That's
know?
right.
Does he still say that to you?
He teases me. He teased me on that today
That's
a
funny.
little bit. Yeah.
What you guys talk about on the sports today?
So we had two guys. We had Bob Dorfman, who had written a piece about Colin Kaepernick and the Nike thing,
yeah.
And
Was
then-
it on ESPN or
Yeah.
SFD? Okay.
and Joe Castellano. He was on. He's big. Not only Bay Area but national. He's done a lot of play-by-play and
Yeah,
other things. He was really good.
that's funny. I just read Bob Dorfman's article this
Okay.
morning.
Perfect.
So yeah,
He's a pretty good guy. Yeah, it's funny. Joe Castellano goes, "Yeah, perfect timing. I'm getting my car swag checked right now."
Joe Castellano. Wait, who's he again?
Joe Castellano. If you looked at it's called the Sports Virus. That's his name. Yeah. 'Cause I said, "How'd you get that?" He goes, "Well, a long time ago, I sent an email to somebody, and somehow it contained a virus accidentally." And so that was they gave me that nickname. Here he comes, the virus.
That's funny.
Those guys.
Hmm.
All right.
Pat, if you don't mind, I'll ask you, like, if you're a buyer in this market,
Mhm.
what's the best approach to writing an offer?
Yeah.
What's maybe something along those lines?
Yeah.
Do you want to ask her that first? You come back?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about like, okay, what's the deal with the seller, with the agent,
Yeah.
you know, yeah.
Then we'll do email time next. Okay, here we go. Welcome back to the Best of Investing. Edward Brown here, along with Nom Fon and Patty Cohen. Second trivia question: what actress plays Arwen in the movie The Lord of the Rings?
Liv Tyler.
Liv Tyler. That's
Oh,
correct.
wow, I know, remember that now.
You know,
Yeah.
funny, she was in have you ever seen That Thing You Do with Tom Hanks?
I love
Yeah.
that
Isn't
movie.
that great? It's
That
one of
was
the it's a clean
So
movie
fun.
too.
Yeah.
Great movie. Love that movie.
Yeah.
Okay, so Nom, you want before we get into what we were going to talk about with you, you had a quick question. for
Yeah,
Patty.
no, just continuing on the vein of real estate. So in this market, it's schizophrenic. I mean, if you're a buyer looking to purchase in this market, I mean, how should you approach it? Because, like you're saying, some properties are moving quickly, some aren't. And so I know it's a neighborhood to neighborhood phenomenon, right? Purchasing, but you're a great agent. You've done so many transactions. When you're working with a buyer, what are the things that they should be considering when making an offer?
Yeah, that's a great question.
And what research can they do ahead of time? And then obviously they're looking for you for that expertise. What would you recommend to them?
Well, first of all, make sure you have a really good agent that knows that micro market, that knows value. Value is the most difficult thing to ascertain, right? Because I mean, if you're in a tract market in the Midwest, it's easy.
Right.
But and then buyers will often go, well, Zillow says. It doesn't matter what it says on Zillow. It's usually wrong. We don't know if it's too high or too low, but it's wrong. So first, get a really, really good agent.
Right.
And then take a look at the property. How long has it been on the market? What are the major flaws? Like I like to say that, if you have one or two flaws in real estate, it's okay. But once you have three, so for example, it's a really hard property to sell. So for example, on a busy street, 50 stairs up to the front door,
Yeah.
and up in the hills.
And 3 dead bodies were found
I know.
last week on it.
Exactly like that. So
That's only one flaw needed in that case.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. That's
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I think the question is it one of those primo properties in the flats with a great school district? Everybody wants it. So of course, buyers are really smart. They can figure out what they want. They can figure out what makes sense. But it's really good to have an agent that knows the market. So then, how long has it been on the market?
Why has it been on for that
Why
long?
has it been on?
Or,
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me see reports. Why is the seller selling? You know, sometimes it's overpriced, and no matter what, that seller's not coming down.
Right.
There's no logic. It's, you know,
Gotcha.
Okay. I remember buyers or a strategy was for buyers to write a letter
oh yeah,
to the sellers. That's still going on
they
these days?
still
Yeah.
do it. Absolutely do it.
Okay.
In fact, when we get to deal of the week, I've got a deal, and you probably have another one to talk about.
Yeah. And so one other question too, Zillow used to be a conversation starter, but always on the wrong foot. Like, because Zillow says it's worth this, and especially if you're the listing agent,
Yeah.
get the listing. Is it still that way? Are buyers still going, Zillow says this, but I understand Zillow's not accurate, or do they say Zillow says this, and I'm not budging from this belief?
Well, buyers go through quite a learning curve. I mean, some
Yeah.
of them are just after 10 months, they just move on, or they've lost a lot of properties
Mhm.
before. They're bloody, just going, I can't do it anymore.
Right.
So they
Buyer
learn.
fatigue.
Yeah.
You know, the market tells the truth. Like value is defined as fair. Fair market value is defined as what will a buyer pay, and you'll
Mhm.
find out with the free enterprise system of multiple offers. You know,
Right.
so. It's a good question, but Zillow is not that accurate. But I look at it, and I'm thrilled when I take a listing and Zillow says it's worth 100,000 more than we listed for. Doesn't mean that Zillow's correct. It just
Yeah,
means
right.
that people are going to be looking at that. That's a good
Yeah.
thing.
Sure.
Yeah, good point.
That's it. So Nam, moving on to you. It says here, how can I verify what assets you hold in your fund?
So for a couple of ways, you can just call and we'll provide you with the portfolio, or if you're a current investor in the fund, through our portal, you can download, and this is updated every month, the list of loans in the fund. So it's available, we update it. Obviously, every month there's new loans that are added, some pay off, so it's always changing, but not by a lot, maybe 10% at the most.
Okay, now we're constantly getting new listeners to the show, so give me a brief background as to the company you work with.
So I'm with Pacific Private Money. We're a private lender located in Marin. We lend throughout California. And we lend to borrowers on real estate, typically a purchase. In scenarios that Patty described earlier. And we provide the funds through a fund, a mortgage pool fund. It's a debt fund, and it's made up of investor capital, credit investors located actually all over the country, but predominantly here in the Bay Area. And they invest in our fund, and in return, they earn 7.5% to 8% net annualized return to them, which they can receive monthly, or they can reinvest the earnings and actually compound their return about 30 basis points or so.
Okay.
So we lend to borrowers on real estate, and going back to your question, the portfolio of loans that we have in the fund is currently about 94, 95 loans, and investors can log into the portal every month or any time, really. It's just updated monthly, and see the address, the loan amount, the loan to value, all of the information.
And give a good quick track record.
So we've been the fund has been in existence since 2013. It's now at about 42 million in assets under management. The return has been 7.5% to 8% since inception. Zero losses, so zero loss of principal, which is a great track record. And that's, Pacific Private Money has been around since 2008. 1,500 loans, $500 million in loans funded. Again, zero losses as well.
Not bad at all. Not bad. In fact, so I was talking to one of the underwriters at Pacific Private Money yesterday, and so a deal came across the desk that got, as they say, green lighted, so it got approved. So there's a property in southern Marin that was purposefully, just like San Francisco, where they purposely made it low, knowing they pretty much knowing they were going to get multiple offers at a higher price. And sure enough, they did.
Oh, good.
So property that was put on the market for $1 million was worth more than that, and it got bid up to $1.3 million.
Nice.
And so this borrower wants to borrow 70% of the $1.3 million. And even Zillow said it was worth about $1.25 million. So for we happen to be talking about Zillow, so we mentioned that. The borrower, though, doesn't quite have 2 years worth of self-employment income. He's got about 1.5 years. But he makes really good money, and so he's got a 760 FICO, I think it was, score.
Right.
So the problem, though, is for a bank, they may look at the, well, wait, if this house was only being listed for $1 million and you bid it up, what's the real value?
Mm-hmm.
And then also the fact that he only has less than 2 years worth of self-employment income. is a little nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
And so that's why he had to go private money.
Right.
And he sent a nice little letter with the package that to the seller of the house. You know, "Oh, my fiance, we're going to get married, we're going to start a family, and all this really sweet stuff." And then mentioned also, you know, I'm putting this in with no finance contingency, knowing that he could get private money, but I'll be refinancing probably in about 6 months because by then he'll have his 2 years.
Right.
So a nice little loan,
Nice.
70% loan to value. It's about pushing the limit,
Right.
but it's kind of in our backyard, so to speak. It's in Marin,
Yep.
and it's in a good area in the southern Marin.
Nice.
So it should work out pretty well, and I think the interest rate he's paying is 9.5%.
And especially like $1 million, $1.3 million is entry level in Southern Marin.
Yeah,
So
right.
there'll always be pressure on that market.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Is that in Mill Valley?
Yeah.
Wow, that is
Yeah.
entry point for sure. But
So-
that's great. Great getting to Mill Valley.
Yeah. So it looks like that loan will go through, and again he's being charged some points plus 9.5% interest. So when Pacific Private Money takes out their management fee, it's still going to net over 8%.
Absolutely.
So it's still it kind of shows the kind of deals that you're doing, because if I remember correctly, you do lots of deals, but you turn down a lot.
Absolutely. And after the break, I'll give you another deal of the week, and we can talk about the next one to best.
Yeah. Okay. Another trivia question here is, taking advantage of a fad at the time, what song became a #1 hit for Ray Stevens in 1974? And I remember this very well. Call 888-912-1190. Be the first caller with the correct answer, and you'll win that tanning certificate. Don't touch that dial. We're going to be right back.
Actually, my best friend, who the house I sold today, she was the seller. She now has some money. She's not used to having money. They're going to end up with the brother and the sister. They're going to end up with like $900,000. So she wants to buy some real estate, but I'm telling her to put some money. She lives in Nevada. I'm telling her to put some money in the fund, and she's not like a financial genius. Most of the people I know aren't. Not that you have to be, but it's just about trust and understanding it a little bit more. She asks me all the time.
Well, it's fairly
like,
liquid too. It's not like when she puts it like, oh my God, if I put it in, I won't be able to get it out. I mean,
that's true.
It's easy. Yeah.
That is so true. Yeah. And women are just more tenuous, and I can be sometimes too myself about just being bold, and I pretty much do stuff. But anyway, so
also what we
when's
do
the
is-
next? You're doing something in San Mateo? I don't know if I'll.
Fremont.
Fremont.
Is the next one. But you know what? If she's in Nevada, she can always meet with
Yeah.
us. I mean, it's actually better to meet one-on-one.
That would
because then-
answer all the questions.
Yeah, answer all the questions,
Yeah.
and we
I think you'd be a good one to meet with
oh,
for
thanks.
her. I think you would.
Yeah.
You have such a nice manner about you. I think that
Yeah,
would be good.
thanks.
Yeah.
We were just talking about that yesterday about your sense of humor.
Yeah.
The thing is, his sense of humor is so good because he's never mean-spirited. I mean, like one time I was teasing Nom about something, just it's very, very slight.
Yeah.
Not really, just kind of teasing him a little bit. And so he writes back, he goes, "Oh, now I'm depressed. I'm going to have to look out my window all day and hope for sunshine," or something like that. It's just great. It's just good
Exactly.
humor. It's good
Oh,
clean
we're
humor.
on air too, huh?
We are.
It's live streaming.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you guys how it really affected me, but that's cool.
Okay.
Like not. Right?
That's right. Okay, ready? Here we go. Welcome back to the Best of Investing one more time. I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Nam Fawn of Pacific Private Money and Patty Cohn of Pacific Union Realty. All right, third trivia question. Taking advantage of a fad at the time, what song became a #1 hit for Ray Stevens in 1974? Patty, you weren't even born then. So, no, I'm going to ask you the question.
No, I have no clue.
No clue? I remember. Do you remember this?
No.
Oh, yes, they call him the street.
Oh yeah.
Fastest man on TV. That was when people were going naked.
Yeah.
Naked
Was
as
it
a,
when people
that goes naked as a jaybird.
I
Remember that?
remember.
They were streaking.
They do it in high school graduation. I think it was
Yeah.
more like the late 70s that they did this.
Well, 1974, they came out with the movie.
Oh,
Or
74.
the song, excuse me. Ray Stevens, he comes out with all these
I
guitars
thought you
and
said
all these.
64.
Oh,
That is
no, no,
exactly
74.
when people were
Yep.
streaking.
I
Oh my
remember it
God.
well.
That's
Yeah.
funny.
All right. So, Nam, you said you have a deal of the week.
Oh yeah, so we had a deal of the week where kind of similar to what you described. It was a family who has a home in Mill Valley, and it was worth like 2.3 million, and job relocation down to Southern California. They were relocating and were downsizing too. So they were going from a 2.3 million to probably 1.6. But she had She had multiple job offers, high-powered exec, but wasn't willing to take and just choose anyone yet. And she came to Pacific Private Money because she needed she couldn't get bank financing until she had a job.
Gotcha.
So we were going to do the bridge loan, and a lot of the investors like, well, she hasn't signed a letter of employment yet. But so a lot of people backed out because they kind of looked at it like a bank as well. She doesn't have her employment yet, so we kind of want to wait. If she signs a letter, with the bank or with an employer, we'll go ahead and fund it. So even some of our investors, but if you said, look at her track record.
I mean, she's going to accept. She's going to accept. Yes, she's going to accept for somebody.
And her point was, hey, I don't want to accept a job just so I can get this loan.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I can get this home. So she said, you know what? I'm not going to do this. But we had a number of investors, and I think a fund may have taken part of this and said, look at her past. So this is where the common sense kicks in. She's not going to just get a loan, move in, and then take no job.
And take no job, exactly. Yeah.
So the risk was there was such low downside.
What was the loan to value on that one?
She was bringing in, she had like an 800 FICO. I think she was bringing in like another 800 or something like that. So it was really low loan to value. And we could cross against the property that she has in the valley.
So you're looking at really low loan to value.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's not going to default on that.
But and she'll refinance, actually.
Now in that case, I could imagine someone like that will take any job that just to take a job to make sure that she doesn't miss the mortgage payment.
Exactly.
Right.
But not to get the loan to begin with.
Right.
That makes total sense.
So she was being courted by 5 different companies. So
come on.
Yeah. She's going to accept one of them.
That's where we go. This is a no-brainer deal.
Yeah.
And I got to think that being a high-powered executive, the income would satisfy any of the requirements.
But you know what? Also. I was thinking, well, even if she's chooses not to work for a few months, she's not going to go under. However, always Google your people, because I was renting to someone. I had a house I was renting for $10,000 a month. They moved from a $5 million house a few years back. The house that they were selling, and that actually was like 6 years ago. So that $5 million house would be 8 or 9.
Yeah.
The house they were selling out of the state was 5.2, which was probably the nicest house in the whole state.
Sure.
So then I Googled him. SEC fraud, lots and lots and lots of stuff. He's now unemployable and in his 40s.
Oof. Wow.
40?
So we do background checks on every borrower application.
Good.
So they go through an application process.
Yeah.
So we do the
Good,
background checks.
Yeah.
It's good to have that.
So
because what if she had something out there on in the internet that you could have found out that would have made her unemployable?
So what did you basically just politely decline?
No. I read it to them. And it turned out to be a mistake, but it was okay. Yeah, I mean, I had a nice deposit. They came up with a deposit. Everything was fine, but I just moved back into my house last month.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I had a lot of work to do. Yes, they did.
Oh,
that's why I moved back. Wasn't planning on it. But
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, but that's okay. I mean, I realized there's things I had to get done anyway, so I'm glad to be back. But anyway, that's you take a risk but go in with your eyes open all the time.
That's good.
Yeah.
Good advice.
That's good. You have Pacific Private Money is having a fun event.
Yeah. So our next event is the end of this month. It's Thursday, September 27th, and this one we've taken the show on the road. It's going to be at the Fremont Marriott, right off the freeway, right off of 880, and that's September 27th. It's 6:30 to 8:30. So if you want to attend, just give us a call at our office, 415-883-2150.
And you've been getting a lot of people responding because we're at the Money Show.
Yeah, at the Money Show, there were quite a few people who expressed interest. We were at the Money Show just a couple of weeks ago in San Francisco, and it was a great event. Quite a few people who actually listened to this show, so hopefully they're listening now. Thank you for stopping by our booth. But come see us in Fremont in a couple of weeks, but give us a call, 415-883-2150.
I'll say it slowly because a lot of people are just looking. 415-883-2150. Or just go to pacificprivatemoney.com, and I guess on the contact page, contact you?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Non-fun. All right. You know what, Patty? I forgot to ask you this question here. Does it matter which company an agent works for, or is it really the agent?
Oh, well, I mean, it's primarily, honestly, the agent, but company does matter. So if you're you're always going to get a stronger network and a stronger marketing team than if you're on your own. It just is.
Sure. Right.
And then there's certain leaders in the marketplace, and those leaders, if you can go with a leader in the marketplace, a top agent in that company, then you've got both covered.
And what
Right.
about teams? Like sometimes there'll be, two people. They call
Well,
themselves
I
a
could
team.
argue 2 for the price of 1. I mean, you could say 2 for the price of 1, but you could also
Yeah.
say more to fall through the cracks.
Mm.
Because
Huh.
who's really paying attention? Like I'm accountable for everything personally
Yeah.
myself.
Right.
I don't want to do a team because it's like, oh, I thought you were doing that. I thought you were doing that.
Gotcha.
Who does the seller call? Oh, now we have to figure it out.
Mhm.
So I think it's better to have, and I don't even delegate to an assistant. I just do
Really?
once we get into
Wow.
escrow. So I want to be on top of it. I want to know the answer when someone calls. I want to be
Yeah.
proactive. They're not even going to ask me questions. I'm going to tell them
Right.
what stage we're at, what's going on. I want to be on it. And
That's a good distinction
Yeah.
between you and a team,
Mhm.
because you're right. I mean, a team, you would think that you have more resources,
Mm.
but I can understand. I mean, I've been a broker in the past myself, and where stuff can fall through the cracks.
Yeah.
Communication is actually like almost, you have to be triple
you have to triple
on
the
top of
communicate.
it.
Well, they say if you
So-
want something done right, you got to do it yourself.
It's true.
Yeah.
And the buck stops here, and the seller doesn't know who should I call for this, and anyway.
No, good point. We have about another 2 minutes before we cut the break. Is there anything you wanted to specifically cover?
Yeah. Also, at the event at the Money Show, we also talked about private money loans as well.
Yeah.
So for investors who, backing up a little bit, if to invest in Pacific Private Money Fund, in the fund, you have to be accredited. So $1 million net worth, or in total assets, but you can't include your property or personal residence, or you have to have an annual income for the last 2 years of 200,000 as an individual or 300 as a couple. If you don't qualify for the fund because you're not accredited, you can invest in individual deeds of trust on privatemoneyloans.com. So you can register there. It's free. You can see loans, individual loans, if you want to invest in individual trust deeds. So the returns are typically 8% or even higher, but they are individual trust deeds. So if you're new to that,
you don't have the diversification.
right?
Yeah.
If you're new to that, or if you have experience, call us as well. Same phone number, and I'll talk slowly. 415-883-2150. Call for either the fund or if you're interested in trustee investing.
All right, very good.
All right.
And gosh, let's see. I've been invested since no, not quite the beginning, but close. 2013 in July, I think.
Oh, wow.
Or
So
August.
1 month into it.
Yeah, about
So-
a month into it.
Yeah, today we have 180 investors, about 95 properties in the fund, and the returns been really consistent. We recently launched a platform so that our fund investors can go in at any time, and you can change your distribution method every month. So you can go from receiving a monthly check
Ah,
to reinvesting it. You can go in and do it yourself. You can add to your investment anytime. You can track and see how it's doing. So we're really pleased with the launch of our.
Yeah,
Great company.
for me, the best part is no losses.
I know.
Yeah,
Did I say no losses? too?
Yeah.
Yeah, no losses.
I mean,
Another
I
really good point is nothing for the investor to do.
yeah,
Like, I mean, if you're going to buy, I'm a landlord, I'm sick of it.
Yeah.
I know it is tough. Okay, stay with us. The best of investing. We'll be right back with some closing comments.
Good.
Right on the money.
Yeah.
So wait, do we have any more left, or is that it?
We have
That
5
5-minute
minutes
thing?
and 10
Yeah, just
seconds.
a
Oh, I
5
thought
minutes.
that was it for
Yeah.
a second. Okay. Oh, yeah. You can give our information again.
Yeah, that's right.
That was a lot of good information today, really.
This was good, yeah.
Any events coming up, real estate events for potential home buyers? Do you put on seminars or anything like that, Penny?
Not really. I used to when I was new in the business. I did it.
You don't need to.
People don't show up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
And
my
those
gosh.
that do, I mean, are very analytical, and they may not ever do anything. And if they do,
Yeah.
it's not going to be with
Waste your
you, and
time.
Right.
all that. And it's hard to speak to a room where some of it might be very, very basic, and some people,
Yeah.
it's like
That's why-
kindergarten, and some
that's a-
people have
that's a good point.
PhD.
Yeah. That's why I was saying for your friend, if they want to. It's so much better to do one-on-one.
You
Yeah.
know,
These fun events are good just to be out there for the to be in a marketplace like Fremont,
Yeah.
where people can come. But if anyone's a local, so much better just come around.
maybe what I'll do is I'll email you both, and I'll do an introduction.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. Yeah, it's funny how when we've gone to certain events, and so these little convention things, everybody, we call it swag, that they'll have
Oh, yeah.
all this real fancy stuff, bags or thumb drives or all this kind of, really kind of good, fun stuff, right? But it's really kind of interesting how, although we like to collect that stuff, the companies that seem to do that, it's almost like lowering their professionalism.
I think so.
A bit. I mean, unless they're like Vanguard is such a big company,
Right.
they're just doing it just to be nice.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because all we do is just kind of like little coasters that have have the company's name on it.
Well, you also
Nobody else does coasters,
Yeah. Well, you also do a really nice dinner, usually a lot of times.
Oh
no,
yeah,
that's
that's
client.
for the client.
That's
But
true.
when we go like to
I
the
promise
shows,
that.
yeah, when we go to the shows, like the money show, we just had a booth, and a lot of times people, what do you got there? You go, we just have a really good product for you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
That's all that counts.
Yeah, you can buy a lot of swag when you're done with us.
Exactly, that's right.
Yeah.
That's exactly it. Let's see, 5 minutes to go.
Yeah. Anything else coming up? Talk about. Let's see. We'll come up with something.
Well, we can talk about what's the selling season of right now. Like all of a sudden,
Okay.
holidays come in. Yeah.
Okay.
Perfect.
Sounds good. There we go. Welcome back to the Best of Investing. Last time for today, I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Nam Phan of Pacific Private Money and Patty Cohen of Pacific Union Realty. Sometimes I say Pacific Union International.
It really is international.
Yeah.
But I mean, it doesn't matter.
International.
Because then it's like, who are you? Well, we're a real estate
If I
company.
want to buy something in Morocco, I call you?
Not really.
No, not really. Okay.
Exactly.
All right. So, Patty, the selling season.
Well, right now, literally, this week is our second selling season. So the first big selling season
After
is
Labor Day.
spring, which is
Right.
March, April, May.
Yep.
But guess how long it is? It's only about 3 or 4 weeks. Because think about our culture. All of a sudden, like October 1st, people start going, wow, the holidays are almost here. And
Yeah.
Right.
November, we're checked out
Yeah.
as a culture.
Mhm.
You know, so right now, if if you're thinking about getting your house on the market at all, do it right now. We got to prepare it. We got to photo it. We've got to get it on the market.
Because a lot of people also want to be either out of their house by the holidays or into their new house by the holidays,
Exactly.
right?
What about the kids in school issue, though?
Yeah, well, it depends what you're selling. So if it's an untraditional, most people are dealing with homework right now, and parents, they're not moving. They are not disrupting their household right now. But not every house has kids, and not
Yeah.
every house is made for kids.
Are you seeing, is there any correlation between the time of year and whether it's boomers selling or families selling?
Yeah, I mean, I think in the winter, untraditional houses are purchased by untraditional people. So if the traditional market is those buyers with kids,
Right.
then the untraditional market would be somebody that works for themselves. So
Mhm.
their business is slower in the winter. They get to
Okay.
pay attention to their own needs.
Right.
And they're
Well-
buying an untraditional house because they're an untraditional person, and maybe they want to be in a little retreat somewhere, or they want a condo.
Okay.
They're not dealing with kids.
Right.
know?
Right. That's
Also,
interesting.
if they're not moving too far from where they currently live, they just want, let's say, a bigger house, then they're not moving school districts. That could be one thing.
Mhm.
And also in certain areas like Marin, maybe in San Francisco, where people go to private school, it doesn't matter where they live.
Well,
Right.
that's true, but think about when your kids were little, and that first month back to school, and that craziness, and
Right.
Yeah,
all the
the
back to
first
school
month,
nights, and
yeah.
all those homework. You don't want to move.
No,
Yeah.
that's true during that time.
Yeah.
Maybe early spring or something.
Yeah,
It's like, not
that's
big
the
deal.
market right there.
Okay, so right now is the next
Second selling season right now.
selling season.
Things are
Okay.
popping.
For 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So we should be pretty busy too, because we're tied to a lot of times to the residential real estate market.
Which brings me to the point, usually when people think of private loans, they think of, commercial or rental property, but your Pacific Private Money is one of the few lenders that does owner occupied.
Right, owner-occupied private lending. So a lot of times we get the referrals from real estate agents, realtors,
Mhm.
and mortgage brokers because Plan A, their conventional loan, either something happened and they run out of time, and we're Plan B, and a lot of people don't realize that Plan B exists for owner-occupied consumer, meaning non-conventional lending.
Mm.
So that's us 415-883-2150.
And again, Patty, how do people get a hold of you
Oh.
for questions on real estate?
Thank you. It's Patty Cohn, COHN. I'm with Pacific Union, and I'm at 415-722-4842. No obligation. Happy to answer any question.
No, Patty's really good about that. She doesn't like say, "Oh, you gotta give me a listing if I answer questions."
Well,
No, you're
yeah.
really good.
And you've been ranked over the last several years, what in Marin?
Like this year, I'm top 1%, and I'm always, I mean, for 30 years, I'm in the top 5% all the time.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, there's a reason for that. You do a good job. That happens. All right. Thank you very much for joining me yet again. Thoughts for today. Goals are dreams with deadlines.
Absolutely.
I
I just
like
read
that.
that. Who said that?
I did.
Okay.
Just now. Okay. And this one actually comes from Thomas Jefferson. I thought it was interesting. It says, when you reach the end of your rope, tie a knot in it and hang on.
Oh my God.
I like that.
He said that?
He said that, yeah. I mean, I said it and he said it, but we'll give him credit for that one.
Yeah.
All right. So out there in radio land, tune in next week to The Best of Investing. We're going to be giving away more free prizes for answering trivia questions. Thanks for listening. On behalf of our team, I'm Edward Brown, wishing you the best of investing. Yes, so long.
Okay.
All right.
Roll that away. Got my notes.
Right, just a tad early on that. Shoot, man, this thing's got,
That was good.
those got 56 minutes. We got 5 minutes to go on this bad boy.
Oh, we
here.
do?
Well,
I
we,
just have a call that I just
Oh, yeah,
got.
please.
I
Go
think I
ahead,
might have
yeah.
to step out because it
oh,
was
yeah,
like,
yeah.
that's the call I've been waiting for.
Go, make money.
I know.
That's awesome.
That's
Congrats
money.
this week. This week, Patty.
Yeah, it's,
It's been a good week. Well, I mean, literally something fell apart this morning unexpectedly, but that's, what I mean,
Was it your listing?
it was my listing.
Okay.
And,
Yeah.
It's like I'm trying to talk to other lenders and
That's
see
always
who wants to do a loan on a, once the condo has a lawsuit, oh boy, all bets are off.
that's tough.
Seems like not an egregious lawsuit.
Yeah.
I mean, in terms of it's not structural.
But
it's just
back to
illegal.
common sense versus the banks, that's why they need you.
Right.
Yeah,
Because
I mean, a loan
back
like
to
that,
the
we might be
banks-
interested in.
Rigid guidelines, like, too bad, there's a lawsuit, check the box, bye-bye.
Do you know what kind of rate that borrower was getting?
I don't know.
Well,
Yeah.
Well, that particular
Buyer.
buyer is out of the picture because they work
Okay.
for the bank and they're sticking with
Oh,
the bank.
that's right. That's
But
right.
Oh,
I'm
sorry.
telling you, I
get
put
other
it back on the
people, yeah.
market and just now I saw 2 people calling me about it. So what rate would they get on something like that? It's $600,000. It's $599 is the price.
And what's the value?
It's a Mill Valley 1-bedroom condo. That's it too. We put it on Thinking Multiple Offers. The last sale was exactly the same location, same size, and it was $650 and it was July.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Like to save the day here, because all it is somebody's ice maker.
Right. So,
I
So
know.
bridge
That's
loan,
funny.
if they needed it until this lawsuit was resolved,
Mhm.
which we don't know how long it would be, but I can't imagine it being that long.
A year?
Well,
It could have been a bridge loan for a year.
Yeah.
And which would be somewhere in the nines.
I know, that's it. I don't know.
No,
Like,
no prepay.
it's first time buyers, and they're every parent would be like, 9, you can't do that.
Right.
You're gonna die.
Usually though, if the buyer comes to you and whoever bank they have, let that agent know if that bank has any questions
Mhm.
to call us, because they'll get the refinance. And maybe they'll talk some sense into that borrower once they understand our loan, because there's no prepay.
Mm.
So a lot of times the
Yeah.
bank referring to us will talk to the borrower and say, hey, listen, this is a viable option.
I got it.
And we'll refinance you, and ultimately you're paying 9% for short term.
Yeah, but
If it's-
points.
Yeah, but yes,
Yeah, that's-
points too. That's
I mean, that's really it.
yeah. that's-
Yeah, I'll just see. Because I talked to this one guy today, and there's a way of making it happen as long as it's owner occupied, as long as it's over 462 or 17, because then it's kind of like a jumbo, and then jumbos they can make some exceptions.
And we
you
know
know.
other
Really?
banks too.
Yeah.
Other alt banks that might be able to have more
Ah.
competitive rates. So
I'll
we
have to call
refer
you.
back and forth
All right.
too. So
Yeah,
That's true.
I know we're gonna sell it. I mean, just whatever. Even if it's not, because he was saying it has to be owner occupied. So even if we've got somebody that's an investor, I'll just
if it's an investor, yeah, I mean
We're fine with
that's owner occupied business. You can make it. It could be a business purpose.
Yeah.
So
all right, we'll check it out. I gotta go make some calls.
okay.
They're all
All
back
right.
on.
Thanks.
Okay,
Thank
thanks, guys. See
you.
you soon.
Double check on here. Oops, let me just double check here. How many minutes left to go do we have? Come on. Just 2 minutes to go. What do you want to tell the camera since we got 2 minutes?
2 minutes.
2 minutes. 2 minutes. That's what they do in basketball. 2 minutes.
To our viewers, I would say real estate is a great investment.
That's right. Generally, your rates are 9+%. Couple points. Processing fee.
One thing we didn't talk about is in a couple headlines and at the upcoming Opal event, there's a pre-event the day before, or another little mini one-day session that Mark was talking about. Should we go to it or not? Okay. And we could be on a panel, or Mark could be, and it's the big move to debt away from equities. So that'll be interesting. And maybe, if there's maybe future conversation or topic for the show is, there might be listeners who invest in equity. And, it's interesting at the Money Show, there are a lot of people who, or Gerasi too, they said, that the equities market, investing in equity, that's pretty much dried up. The opportunities have really so there's more movement into debt. So I'm hoping that family offices now will take a closer look, because they're not going to get the returns
maybe
from us.
And from that, we're going to say goodbye.
Bye-bye.